This story happened to me around 3 years ago. I'm 22 now, so I was probably about 19 when it happened. I live in a town that used to be a prosperous and vibrant town, but the recession hit it really hard, and for a while now it's been full of derelict buildings, just completely abandoned with no use or purpose. Most of the time, these buildings are just left alone and they're boarded up. There's one particular building though that's always had a reputation, even before it went abandoned. This is because there's rumours going round that it's haunted. These rumours have been around my town for about, well, it seems like forever, but it must be 70, 80 years that these rumours have been going around my town. Even my parents and grandparents knew these rumours about this one particular building being haunted. Plenty of people that have worked there have said creepy stories have happened to them when working there alone. Apparently, many people have seen an old woman just above the staircase next to a window. Sometimes people are outside the building and they see the old lady looking back at them, only to disappear moments after. Sometimes people have been in the house and have seen her from a distance. The lady apparently doesn't have a face and is wearing all white. But to me, this is just a complete load of nonsense. I don't believe in ghosts. I think sometimes people see things when they want to see things. I've always been incredibly skeptical, but one day the curiosity got the better of me. So I decided that on one evening on the weekend, I'm going to head out to this building. I went with a friend, Susie. Me and Susie have been friends since school, so I knew I could trust her. She does believe in ghosts, and to be honest that annoys me, and she's always been keen to go too. Now, she never had anyone to go with because we were each other's only friends in school. So now that I said that I was interested and wanted to go, I think she was more keen, to be honest, to prove to me that ghosts exist, rather than see anything herself. I told her that there's not much chance of this, and she just laughed. Anyway, one evening around 10 PM, we headed out with our flashlights to this abandoned building. We didn't bring much with us because we didn't think we needed to, but to get to this building it's a bit of a pain. To get to the building, you need to cross these fields. The fields are always overgrown, and there's always grass up to about waist height, but sometimes even higher. So as you can imagine, it can be quite difficult to navigate this at night. However we did, and we made it to the front gate. We climbed over the gate that was really rusty, and I cut my finger on a bit of rust. We dropped down, and I looked down at myself, and I'm covered in paint. It must be that kind of paint they put on gates to stop people from climbing over, the anti-climbing stuff or whatever it is. But that didn't stop us. So I looked at Susie, and she looked scared to be there. I'm not surprised. If you do believe in ghosts, I'd imagine coming into an area in the middle of night, knowing that there's potentially a ghost in there, is quite frightening. But for me, I'm just entering an abandoned building. I was more scared of people already being in there and thinking that we're trespassing on their property. Anyway, we walked through the door, and this place had a very distinct smell. It stank of damp and mould. You know that old mould smell, like it's been there for years? Kind of like that. I didn't know how safe this place was, so I said it was best that we stuck together. And that we did. We walked around this place, and for the most part saw nothing, apart from loads of graffiti on the wall and empty beer cans on the floor. It had an eerie feeling at night anyway, and I could see why people would imagine they've seen things here. But I didn't see anything. Susie thought she saw a shadow and heard some noises, but I think it was just her imagination playing tricks on her, to be honest, because I was with her the whole time, and I saw nothing. We got to the top of the staircase where this ghost has reportedly been seen, and I heard some noises outside. Initially, I thought it was my mind playing tricks on me, but I look out the window, and I see a car pull up outside, and a group of 4 or 5 people get out, all dressed in black. I couldn't make out faces because they were just too far away, but I could hear voices. As well as this, I could hear 2 German shepherds barking extremely loud and see them next to the men. This scared me, and where else would they be coming apart from in the building? Me and Susie both realised quickly that we could be in danger here, and that we could have stumbled onto something that we didn't want to be a part of. The men quickly made their way into the building, and we can hear them chatting. There was definitely some kind of transaction going on, but I couldn't figure it out. And to be honest, I didn't want any part of whatever it was. However, I heard one of the men say, "Let's make sure there's no one else in here before we start. If they are, we'll get the dogs on them." That's the part that terrified me. These dogs were huge. You know the kind of German shepherds that are like half the size of people? They were like that. Me and Susie quickly made our way into an adjacent room. There was a big storage cupboard, so I decided that the best thing to do would be to hide in there. It fell dead silent, and I could hear people coming up the stairs. I heard footsteps initially outside the door, then inside the room we're in. I was trying my best not to breathe noisily, and so was Susie. I could hear a trembling of fear in every breath she took. I put my finger to my mouth to indicate to her to be more quiet, but it was so dark I don't know if she could hear me. I could hear the dog sniffing around, and the man trying to figure out if anyone was upstairs. All of a sudden I heard him say, "No one up here," and he made his way back down the stairs. I breathed a huge sigh of relief, and stayed there for about 30 seconds, just to make sure no one came back in. Now, the men were clearly in front of the door, so we couldn't get out the building, and didn't really know what to do. We decided to devise a plan to get out of this place. Now, we don't know what the intentions were of these guys, but they didn't seem good, especially from the fact they seemed so secretive about what was going on. I decided the best thing to do would be to climb out of one of the windows and make our way down a pipe that was on the outside of the building. We only had to go down one floor, so as long as we did it quietly, we should be okay. This is probably a good time to mention, Susie and I are avid rock climbers and boulderers, so although we've never climbed down a pipe, we should have enough in us to make it down one floor going down a pipe. Well, that was my thinking anyway. We decided to make our way to the window as quickly and quietly as we could. I said Susie could go first. She made it out and made her way onto the pipe, and was slowly squeezing the pipe and releasing herself to slowly inch her way down it. It wasn't a huge drop, maybe 15 feet, but obviously a fall at this height could really damage your ankles or any other body part you landed on, so we had to make sure we were being careful. Halfway down I realised she wasn't moving. She whispered up that she snagged on something and couldn't get released off of it. She was trying to pull her arm away when all of a sudden it ripped and she fell down probably 7 feet, crashing into the ground. She let out a yelp, and all of a sudden I could hear the men downstairs raising their voice and wondering what was going on. I had no time to react. I quickly jumped out the window, slid down the pipe and down to Susie. I heard one of the men say, "Was that outside or in here?" I asked Susie if she was okay, and she said that she thought she'd broken her ankle. I told her to climb onto my back and I'd carry her out. I got onto my back as quickly and as efficiently as I could, and started jogging as fast as possible towards the gate. I had no idea how I was going to climb this. Someone must have been looking down on me. I noticed a gap between two bars at the gate that we could easily squeeze through. So I let Susie go first, and she squeezed through and then fell onto the ground. I made my way through it quickly too. As I picked back up again, I saw a flashlight shine directly onto us. I froze in fear as I heard the men shouting that there was someone outside the gate. The man ran back inside to gather the rest of the men and the dogs. I ran as fast as I possibly could through this high grass to get back to our car. I could hear the men behind us talking and shouting, and also hear the dogs barking. We made it back to the car, and I quickly opened the door. Susie got in first, and I got in the back. I told her to keep down and we'll stay low. And that's what we did. We didn't drive off, we didn't start the car, we didn't have time. We stayed as low as we possibly could in the car, hoping that they wouldn't look through the window. After about 15 seconds I could hear voices, and I could see flashlights going into the trees just behind my car, and also through the window of my car. Thankfully they never came up close, and they kept walking past. Due to being inside the car I couldn't hear what they were saying, but the dogs were no longer barking and I could hear voices. It felt as if they were looking for us for an eternity, but it was probably only a few minutes. The men made their way back to the building, and we stayed there for about 30 minutes before I decided to get into the driver's seat of the car and drive us back home. When we got back, we were pretty shaken up, but we vowed to never tell anyone about it, mostly because we didn't want to get in trouble and we didn't want people to think we were idiots. But yeah, that's my story, and one of the scariest things that's ever happened to me. So, this happened to me this summer, and I feel lucky to be alive. Me and a group of friends have always enjoyed camping. We have these beautiful country trails just near where I live, and every summer we hike up there 2 or 3 times over the course of 2 or 3 months. We typically stay there for the night, or sometimes 2 nights depending on how we feel. The area is known to have grizzly bears, but we've been going there years and we've never seen one. We got quite complacent and we decided to head up there without any bear spray and not really caring about where we set up camp. So, to make a long story kind of short, a group of 5 of us drove up there, found a clearing and set up camp. We had some issues with our tent, but it was a beautiful summer's night and extremely warm, so I wasn't too worried about how long it took to set up the camp, as we had plenty of lights. It's just kind of more ideal if you set up during the daytime. It was good to see all my friends. We hadn't met up in so long, since everyone lives in different towns and works different jobs. We used to do this quite regularly when we were young, back in college and whatnot, but since then, some of these friends I hadn't seen since last summer, so it was great to see them again. We cracked open the beers and had a really good night. We woke up feeling a little bit worse for wear, but me and my friend Luke were early risers, so we woke at around 7:30 in the morning. We decided that while the others were sleeping, we were going to tidy some stuff up. We'd made quite a bit of a mess the night before. There were beer cans on the floor and just general waste everywhere. So Luke got out the tent and started clearing that up while I packed some things up from inside the tent. All of a sudden, I heard Luke go, "Psst, psst," and said my name. He said it in a way that alerted me instantly. I thought he was just playing games on me, so I laughed and joked with him to come in the tent if he wanted to speak to me, as I had a headache. He did the noise again and said he wasn't joking. I slowly made my way out, and as I looked round the corner, probably 30 feet away from us, was the biggest grizzly bear I've ever seen in my life. It was huge, but it didn't look as though it'd seen us. If you don't know about grizzly bears, they are extremely dangerous animals when you're invading their privacy and their space, and we were most definitely doing that. Now, being 30 feet away from a grizzly might not sound that dangerous, but these creatures are incredibly fast, incredibly territorial, and wouldn't hesitate to kill every single one of us. I slowly made my way back to the tent, trying not to alert it. It didn't appear to know we were here, but I'm sure they have a great sense of smell and knew that something was nearby. Trembling, I made my way back to the tent. I shook my friends, told them to be quiet, and told them what was happening. They woke up groggy and couldn't believe what I was saying. That's when Luke backed into the tent. We slowly zipped up the tent, and we made everyone remain as quiet as possible. We didn't have time to make it down the trail, as if we started walking out this tent and making noise, it would certainly alert the bear. This thing must have been 7 or 8 feet tall, and I don't want to guess how many pounds it weighed. It was huge. All of a sudden, we heard the cracking of sticks in the distance, which gradually got closer and closer. We remained silent. I was trembling, as I knew what could happen in this situation. I tried to keep everyone calm and tell them to remain as quiet as they possibly can, not to alert this bear. About a minute passed, and I saw a shadow on the back of the tent. The shadow looked huge, and it was moving. This was definitely the bear sussing out what was there. You could hear it walking around the tent, sniffing. We remained completely silent. This felt like it lasted an eternity. It was probably only around 1 minute, but the sound of the bear walking around our tent, sniffing, occasionally clawing at it, scared the life out of me. I can't remember the situation too well, as I feel like some kind of survival mode kicked in my head, but what I do remember is the sound of my heart beating and my brain racing. We must have stayed in that tent for another 3 hours, remaining completely silent and just deciding when to leave. We didn't want to open the tent and the bear was just sitting there outside, so we thought we'd give it time to get away. It probably got to around midday when we decided to first leave that tent. I looked around and there were clear marks where the bear had been walking around. We decided to leave our tent there and get back down the trail as quick as we possibly could. We did that and we alerted the park ranger about it. We felt stupid for not bringing any bear spray with us because that could save our life in this kind of situation. We decided that we wouldn't let it put us off us camping up there, but we'd find a different spot, and also we'd take the necessary precautions next time we did this. So to cut this story off here, please don't be like me. Take the necessary precautions, and there's safety warnings for a reason. Everyone, I hope you're all alright. This is the part of the video where there's no more stories. So if you're only here for the stories, then there's plenty more on my channel and lots of other channels out there that narrate stories much better than I do. But if you're here for the chat, then that's what this part's for. I'm sitting in the notorious windy spot, so if I'm quiet for a moment, hopefully you can hear that, and hopefully it's in the background and quite relaxing. It's not that cold out today. I mean, it's cold, but it's not freezing, so I thought I'd sit in the windy spot, and I think, to be honest, it's quite nice just to have a little bit of something in the background, a little bit of white noise. Since I'm on the topic of white noise, I think it really helps with getting to sleep. I say that actually, it's quite contradictory because at the moment it is 3 minutes until midnight and I haven't been able to sleep. But to be honest, I think a bit of white noise can really help with trying to get to sleep. I'm one of them people that just struggles with my sleep. I don't know what it is, now I'm tired. I'm really tired, but I just know if I try to sleep, I'd just be lying there, and it's really frustrating. I don't know why. I even recently bought some decaf teas. I'm trying not to have tea, normal tea, after about 3 or 4 in the afternoon, just because I've heard that the caffeine takes a while to wear off in your system. So I bought decaf ones, and I've even bought sweeteners as well. Oh, I had a bit of a nightmare with the sweeteners actually. I never really used them, but I bought a little pack of like 150 from Tesco's. It's like a little dispenser thing, and I didn't realise. I bought them home thinking the top bit was the lid, and I'm thinking this is hard. Why? Jesus Christ! I super glued it on, so I'm yanking it, and I've just pulled the lid off, and about 100 of them have just gone flying all across the room. So I've probably got about 25 left. I have to go buy another one. But turns out there's a little button that has just come out one at a time at a dispenser. I don't know why I didn't realise that. I'm one of them people actually. I'm such a practical, hands-on learner of things. I have to do things and make mistakes to learn. Like, I can't just be told to do something and be able to figure it out. If someone's giving me verbal instructions, I can't do it. I can't learn, and like, so I could understand what they're saying to do, but I just can't physically then go and do it, if that makes sense. And let me know if any of you guys are like this as well, because it's something I've realised more and more, and I wish I knew in school, because I have to physically hands-on do something and be involved with it to learn. And I know there's different types of ways of learning, and some people are more geared to hands-on practical, some people are more like audible learners, some people are visual learners, and I think everyone's a slight combination of all of them. But I've realised that I'm very dominantly a hands-on practical person. I have to do it. There's been so many times when I look back of school and even jobs where it's, someone told me to do something and I just can't do it, and it's not because I can't physically do it. It's not that I'm not capable of doing it. It's just because the way they've shown me to do it or told me to do it isn't how my brain learns. And, it's one of them things where I think you have to bring it up early. If you're going to start a job, or if you're in school with a teacher or whatever, you need to let them know that this is how you learn, because you get so much more benefit out of it. Especially, if you're in school. I remember being in school and things like maths, and a teacher telling us how to do an equation or whatever, and I just couldn't do it until I physically did it and then made a mistake, then I had to do it again, then made a mistake again, then did it again, and someone come over and showed me this is what you need to do, and then I did it again, and once after repetition of constantly doing it, I would get it. But I think it's important to try and find out, you know, how you do learn things, even for jobs in the future, because most of the time with jobs, they're not really showing you things, like practically you're not doing a lot when you first start, and that's the whole thing with shadowing too, I suppose, is you learn to an extent when you shadow jobs when you first start and whatever else you do when you're buddied up with people, but you only really start to learn, for me, when I'm physically doing it. I can't be one of them people where it's like, oh yeah, no, I told you how to do that a month ago, I wouldn't remember how to do it. I just can't do that. I have to have done it. If I've physically done it, I'd be like, yeah, I'll remember that, or I'd get the gist of it. But if it's just like you said to me, oh, press this button on a computer, and then you go to that system, then you click this button, then you press back here, then you go into that button, I wouldn't be able to do it. It wouldn't work for me. But yeah, it's not, I'd recommend to any of you guys out there, try and figure out how you learn, and even if it's in a job that you're in, maybe speak to your manager and say, you know, this is how I learn. I want to improve and progress, but this is how I would best do it. And I think it would benefit in the long run, to be honest. I wish I did that sooner, because I've only just started doing that. I've only just realised, and when I actually do stuff, I get it. But yeah, I don't know how I got onto this. Actually, recently I've splashed out, haven't I? I bought a whole candle. I bought a Yankee candle. It's Winter Night Stars. And I haven't got a very strong sense of smell, so I can't really smell this one very well. But I've really got into candles. I kind of like candles. There's something about like the little, you know, when the wick's lit. There's something about it that's quite mesmerising. I don't know why. I find that with fire too. If there's a fireplace going or a bonfire, there's something about fire that's quite intriguing. And also, I don't know why, but it's the noise of the fire too. Like I say with the white noise, there's something about the noise of fire that's really satisfying, and I don't know why. It's a strange one, really. But yeah, I've been getting candles recently. Oh, I'm not getting candles. I've got one candle. I'm bigging it up like I've got loads. I've got one, and I quite like them now. I was always one of them people like, what's the point? But yeah, obviously this candle I've got next to me isn't lit because I'm in the windy spot, so I can't light the candle. But yeah, I want to get some more. If you've got any recommendations for me, I mean, I'm trying everything I can to try and improve my sleep. Like, I know the candle's probably a bit of a, you know, placebo kind of thing, but I feel like it might help. Sorry if my voice keeps cracking as well. Maybe I'm coming down with something, I don't really know. It feels like the moment I turn this microphone on, it's always been the case in this microphone, the second it comes on, my voice goes. I don't know what it is, because it's not been like it all day. But yeah. Anyway, let me know what you guys have been up to. Have you done anything interesting? You know, what are your plans for the weekend? Or, you know, what's your job? I'm always interested in what you guys are up to. Like, what is your job? I'm planning on making some more videos on, you know, things like Amelia Earhart topic and that kind of thing. At the moment, I'll just do videos when I'm, you know, I've been doing this a long time, and I only kind of nowadays want to make videos when I'm interested in a topic, or if I've, you know, got some interesting stories to tell or whatever, or if I just want to have like this. I do this because I like the chat at the end. I like engaging with you guys. You know, the stories, you know, I like the stories. I like narrating stories. I like reading stories. I like, you know, like writing my own stories, and, you know, but it's not my passion, and I do enjoy it, but it's not something I'm, you know, like, I can't wait to go and do this. It's just something I do here and there that I do enjoy, but not as a outright passion. I kind of, for these videos, I've said it before, I just prefer the chat with you guys, and when you guys interact in the comments, that's my favourite part of this. Always has been, to be honest. If YouTube didn't have a comment section, I don't know if I could continue with it. I don't think I would, because I need that sort of you know, engagement with you guys to make it, interesting, so I like finding out what you guys are up to, and obviously there's regular viewers that come back and always comment, and it's just nice to hear from you guys, and it feels like I've got like a nice little community here. I know I don't get tons of views or anything, but I don't really care. I'm happy with what I have, and it's nice to, you know, have people that come back to you all the time, and you kind of get used to people coming on your channel, and it's quite nice, you know. But yeah, that's my favourite part of this channel. And also, I enjoy doing the charity of the month stuff. That's my other favourite thing that I'm really passionate about on this channel, is doing the charity of the month, where I donate a small amount of my own money, and also suggest you guys to check out a charity and make recommendations and for charities of the month. It's something that I really need to get back on a bit more. I think it's been about a month since the last one, so I'll probably do another one soon. I think my next one is going to be a dog charity or an animal charity of some kind, but still undecided on that, so I'll need to have a think, really. But yeah, I always, whenever I come on here, I always have something I want to talk about, and in the moment I start talking, I get completely off topic and I can't remember what I was going to talk about. One thing I'm really pleased about at the moment is that the clocks have gone, do they go forward or back? Forwards. Yeah, forwards. I think it comes from farmers, if I'm right. I can't really remember, so they have more daylight. But yeah, it's gone forward an hour, so it's quite nice because it's light a bit later on, and as it gets into summer, it's bright until about like 9 o'clock at night. Even today, it didn't get dark until about 7, which is really nice because I like it when it's light outside. There's nothing worse than, especially if you guys have ever worked somewhere where you go into a building and there's no windows. You sort of go in there and there's no daylight, so you leave and it's dark, and you get to the job and you're inside all day. You might go out on your lunch, but then you leave and it's getting dark again, and it's like you're kind of nocturnal. It's like you're just in like a little mole hole all the time. I always think it's really important, especially when you work somewhere, sort of get out on your lunch and have a walk, or go and sit outside if it's not too cold. I mean, if it's like peeing down with rain, I wouldn't bother, but I always think, you know, just get outside and have a stroll or something, just some fresh air as well, because it can't be good to be inside a building all day, you know. An update on my little mini fitness journey that I've been on forever. I've plateaued, I suppose. It's not good and it's not bad. Like, I'm treating myself a little bit, like having little things here and there. You know, my weaknesses, actually, I absolutely love chocolate raisins. I don't know what it is about them. They're cheap as well. I think I mentioned to you guys that I've got a shop down the road that sells a lot of Eastern European food, which I absolutely love. There's these crisps that I get, and they're absolutely amazing. I can't read the language on the front, but they're amazing. I buy them every single time. They're like 3 massive packs for £1. I love them, and it's so hard to not go in there, but I've not had them for like 3 or 4 months just because I want to be good. But yeah, I'm always tempted when I go in there, and I got the chocolate raisins last time I was in there as well. They've also got they always have like really cool flavours of drinks in there. Like, if I go in there, you get just flavours that you can't seem to find anywhere else. And it's just one of them shops that I have to go in. If I'm walking down the road, I have to go in there and just get something. I know it's bad, but this is what it's probably, this shop is single-handedly ruining the progress. No, I just need more self-discipline. But it's not going badly, like I say. I'm still exercising. I'm going for runs and stuff, trying to do some like calisthenic stuff at home, and just little bits of gym here and there. But I know it's probably not enough. I think as well, with the diet, I think I need to increase my protein a little bit, probably too, because I find that days where if I've got a routine, I'm quite good with my diet if I'm just sticking to a routine. But it's when I'm if I've got some time, or if I'm on my own for a while, I kind of just let the diet slide a little bit, and that's the problem. Is that and also especially when I'm in that shop. Like I say, I'll get like jam donuts, I'll get jam tarts. I love a bit of jam. I do love a bit of jam, to be honest. But yeah, I was having an argument with someone the other, not a proper argument, like a debate. That's the word, about drinks the other day, and they had the most heinous opinion about what's the best drink. What was it they said? I think they said that Coke Zero was a god tier drink, and there's no way in the world, there's absolutely no way in the world Coke Zero is god tier. I don't think Coke Zero is nice. I'm not a massive fan of Diet Coke either, but I think Coke Zero tastes like it's got vodka in it. I don't know why it tastes like it's got vodka in it, but to me it tastes like it has vodka in it. It's disgusting. I think of the sugar-free Cokes, Pepsi Max is god tier, absolute god tier. I don't care what anyone says, Pepsi Max is banging. Coke Zero is terrible. Diet Coke is bang average. Don't like it that much. Could live without it. I'm not a fan. I'm also not too keen on Diet Dr Pepper. I don't think it's that great. Diet Lemonade it's okay actually. It's not the worst. I think lemonade is an underrated drink. I think it doesn't get the appreciation it deserves. That's my opinion. One drink I've never been a fan of though is Fanta. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't do it for me. I'm not a fan of it. I sound like I'm really fussy probably. Maybe I am, but I'm just not massive. I'm not keen on a lot of things like that. Do you know what? What is your... if you're still listening to this, I can't imagine there's many people still listening here. But if you are, what is one food that everyone else seems to love but you hate? Let me know in the comments. And also let me know in the comments what is your least favourite food, because I always say I absolutely hate tomatoes. I think they're horrid things. They really like balls of cold pus. They really are putrid. I really can't stand them. The only way I could have a tomato is in ketchup, or if it's one of those really, really tiny mini ones and it's like fried to the point it's like boiling inside. I can't have them cold. It's disgusting. They really are disgusting. It's like I've had them in a burger as well and you don't realise it's in there and you take a bite. Oh, it's horrid. Another thing is gherkins. I don't like gherkins. I think they're horrible little soggy things. Actually, another big one for me is carrots. I hate carrots. I think they're horrible. I know some people just bite them raw and don't like carrots. Other than that, I like most foods. Do you know what? We have a place in England. I probably spoke about this place before, but I don't really go often. But it's called Toby Carvery, and I crave it so frequently. I really do. It's like I don't know if everyone has roast dinners in their country. Probably not. But it's kind of like it's like a Christmas dinner. So it's kind of I don't know. It's hard to explain. But it's not hard to explain. I'll just say the ingredients. It's Yorkshire pudding. There's meat, so there's beef, turkey, gammon, whatever. Cranberry sauce, stuffing, mashed potatoes, roast potatoes, vegetables like peas, carrots, cauliflower, that kind of thing. But it is unbelievable. There's nothing better for me than a roast dinner. And this place Toby Carvery does, it's like £15. It's like an all-you-can-eat one. So you get a plate and you just pile it on. I went there like a couple of months ago, and I just piled it on. I might even do you know what? I might upload a picture of my Toby Carvery on there because it was so good. And when I upload the picture, it's probably gonna look like a mountain of pure slop. But it was incredible. I absolutely love Toby Carvery. If you are from a country that doesn't have roast dinners regularly, please look them up and please try and make one, because I promise you'll love it. I really love a Toby Carvery. I think they cost in England, I think it's like £15, but the amount of food you get is crazy. You just have as much as you want. I absolutely love it. I really do. Yeah, I can't believe as well. I'm proper rambling now, but I can't believe how quickly this year has gone. I think it's April. It's almost April now. It's crazy. I can't believe it. Feels like it was Christmas like a month ago. I can't believe we're 4 months into the year already. It always does this though. It feels like January lasts ages. January's like the longest month ever, and then the rest of the month, before you know it, it's like almost summer. It's a really odd thing. Like the time always just goes so fast, but it also feels like it goes so slow. And that's why I find it so weird, because if I think back to something that was a year ago, I think that was ages ago. But then the time seems to go so quick. I don't know if this makes any sense whatsoever, but I'm sure some other people understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, do you know what? I miss talking in this part of the video, and I know it's pure boring waffle, and I wouldn't listen to this, so why are you listening to it? But I really enjoy it. It's kind of like just having a ramble with a friend is how it feels, and I hope you guys feel that way as well, because that's how I feel about it. It's, to be honest, it's the only thing like I really look forward to when I'm recording, because normally I get a little bit stressed out when I'm recording because I always make mistakes, but here it doesn't matter if I make a mistake. I just talk about whatever I want to talk about. And on this channel I make a point, I don't talk about anything political. I don't care to talk about politics at all. I don't want to talk about anything controversial. I don't want to talk about anything in the news. I don't want to talk about anything like that. I just want it to be no matter who you are, where you come from, what you look like, race, gender, anything. I don't care. Anyone is welcome here, and we can just bond about horror. If you want to talk about horror stuff, I love horror stuff. I love anything creepy. Anything we talk about here, like food, what you're doing in your life, animals, sport, anything. I'm happy to talk about anything here, and I want it to be a place where it doesn't matter who you are, or what you're doing in your life, whether you're rich, poor, anything. You can come here and you can relax for a bit and take your mind off whatever's going on in your life. And that's what I want this to be. I want it to be a really nice community, and it is, where people can come and we just have a chat. And that's what I want it to be. Because there's loads of channels out there where they're talking about controversial things all the time, and I just, it's not me. It's really not me. I just like talking about like what we're talking about here. And I think sometimes I listen to other podcasts where they just talk about mundane things and like things that aren't important. I think sometimes you need that. You can't. Not everything has to be so serious all the time. And I think sometimes it's nice just to just waffle, to be honest with you. I know this is pure waffle. At this point I don't know what I'm going on about. I'm really tired and I should sleep. But yeah, actually, on a final point, I've got something. I don't know what it's called. Is it called like an it's like a hoodie or snuddy or something? I don't know what it is, but I've got one. I got one for Christmas, and I wear it like every evening now. It's like a massive furry hoodie that goes down to like your knees. They're really good. I got one for Christmas, and I wear it all the time. It's so comfortable. I could just live in it, to be honest. It's like the best piece of clothing I've ever been given. I absolutely love it. I got it on now. I just got my hood up as well. It is getting a little bit chilly now, but yeah, I'm talking nonsense. So I'm gonna go. Thank you all for listening. I love you all, and yeah, if you got to this point of the video, say I'm gonna go eat a roast dinner. Say that in the comments, because then I know you got to this point of the video. But anyway, yeah, speak to you all later. Bye.